My husband offered to buy me a luxurious beach house if I agreed to one little thing. I don't try to fight him in court on the divorce. Well, you know what? I love that beach house, so it doesn't sound like that bad of a deal. But I think I can get more, and I think I deserve more, so I'm going to fight him. I'm married to Jamie. We have a daughter, Florence. She's 1. We've been married for 5 years, but only had our daughter a year ago, as I didn't want to have children. I only agreed to have Florence when Jamie said that we could hire a nanny or something to help me. I love my life too much to have a baby getting in the way of things. If I had my way, I would have hired a surrogate as well, but Jamie was against that. I refused to point blank just to do a natural birth. I don't know. There's no way in the world I was pushing something out of me like that. Jamie also agreed that if I needed it, he would make sure that I had a personal trainer just to get me back into shape. I've seen what happens to the bodies of some of Jamie's friends' wives after they had children, and there's no way I want to look saggy and gross. I'd also not be breastfeeding it, as I read it makes your breasts sag. And I told Jamie before we got pregnant that I'd be expecting a boob job if that happened. I'm not vain. I know I'm a beautiful woman, as men always look at me when I'm out and about, and I'm not prepared to sacrifice my body for a baby I don't even want. Anyways, he agreed to all my demands and we got pregnant. I actually did not hate being pregnant, and I got a lot of attention. I had 3 baby showers, 1 for family, 1 for Jamie's friends, and 1 for my girlfriends. They're all very different, so I didn't want them to mix. It's bad enough having to mix my family with Jamie's family as he comes from money. And, well, I don't. I know his parents never wanted him to marry me as I was not good enough for him, but Jamie did not listen to them. My family's much more down to earth, and I admit I am not a high-class woman, but I've met all of Jamie's rich work friends and their wives, and dear God, they're so boring. My friends are much more like me, and they're all jealous that I managed to marry someone like Jamie who has money just to provide for me. I do have a good life, and I'm so lucky that I live in a beautiful house with a pool and I drive a nice car. I did not go to university as I'm not academic, and I hate that some of Jamie's friends think that there's something wrong with people who are, quote, not book clever. Yeah, I'm not the cleverest woman on the planet when it comes to academics, but hey, I have other skills. I was working as a hostess at the club where Jamie and his friends came from after work. And he was so nice compared to the other men who also came from the same high-paying background jobs. Or their trust funds, and they just treat girls who work in clubs as absolute trash. Jamie always talked to me like a human being, and I loved that about him. One day he asked for my number and we went on a date. Things went from there, and I was able to stop working as a hostess and got a job at a respectable boutique selling designer clothes with Jamie's help. I'm much happier, and when he asked me to marry him, I knew my life was going to be perfect. I only work part-time now, as once I was pregnant, I felt really sick all the time, so I cut down my hours, and after my maternity leave, I went back to part-time. Jamie said I could stop working if I wanted to and just be a full-time mother, but I didn't want that. I'm not very maternal, and although I do love Florence, in my way, I am not really a hands-on mother. I would say, though, I think Jamie just assumed that once I had the baby, I would just all of a sudden become this perfect mother. But it's just not who I am. He's much more better with the baby than I am, 100%. And I think that when Florence gets older, it'll be better, and I'll be able to do girly things with her. At the moment, she's not particularly, interested in all that. When Florence was 6 weeks old, our live-in nanny started work. We interviewed a lot of girls for the job, and, well, I did not like most of them. Maybe I was not expecting too much, but I envisioned a Mary Poppins, an old maid type of woman. Yeah, you could say that was hard to find. But all the nannies who came were very young and very attractive, and I simply did not want competition in my household. So when Jane, 22 female, came to her interview, I knew she was the one. She was younger than me, but she was very, well, plain looking, so she would not distract my husband from me. She also seemed to really love Florence from the start, and Florence really liked her as well. Having Jane in the house made my life absolutely so much easier. She had a room next to Florence's nursery, and she would get up in the night if Florence needed to be fed. She got Florence dressed and ready in the morning, and all I had to do was take Florence out to my parents or other places. I usually took Jane with me, as she would look after Florence if she got fussy. I think Jamie's parents disapproved of this setup, but I don't care. What's the point of having money if I don't use it to make life easier? Jane gets one full day of a week and one evening, and on those days I usually take Florence to Jamie's parents, and she has time with her grandparents. After all, it's important for children to bond with their family members, so. For a year, we've been living with this arrangement, and it's worked perfectly. However, recently, I feel like Jane is overstepping her role, and it's absolutely annoying me. I had to go into hospital for a procedure, and I was away from home for a week. As the clinic was in a different city, you have to make sure you have the best surgeons for cosmetic surgery. After I got home, I had to care for a few weeks just in case I damaged a new bust line. And so I was simply not able to lift anything heavy, including Florence, or do anything too strenuous. Jamie was working overtime as they had some big client things going on. I don't know what, I'm not interested. And so, because I was recovering, I canceled Jane's usual time off. Jamie's parents were away on holiday, so I could not take Florence to them. Well, not on Jane's day off, and I was recovering, so what was I supposed to do? Anyways, Jane has always been very meek, and just always does what she told me to do. But this time, she's being annoying, and speaking to me in a way I do not appreciate. I told Jamie that this is simply not acceptable, and he was extremely rude as well. He actually had the gall to say that I needed to be a better mother to our daughter and accept that I had to actually look after her at times. That was totally unfair, as I do look after her. I'm always taking her out to see my friends and to show her off. He said that I just looked to dress her up like a little doll and did not want to do real parenting. I was shocked to the core. Anyways, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I think that Jane's been telling him lies about me. That's the only reason I can think that Jamie would be so rude to me. I'm a good wife and mother, and so someone has to be spreading lies about me. I want to fire Jane, but Florence likes her. What do any other parents think? Will Florence get over it quickly? I'm not prepared to have a nanny who's spreading lies about me in my house. I've not told Jamie I'm planning to fire her yet, but I wanted some just outsider perspective opinions on this. Thank you. What's up, guys? Mr. Reddito here. Today is a sticky stay-at-home drama. I hope you're enjoying your day. If you're new to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button just for daily videos and so you never miss an update. Now we're going to jump into update 1, and well, things are about to get a little messy. Go grab your favorite beverage, sit back, relax. Update number 1. I read all the replies I got, both good and bad, but none of that matters anymore because things have gone to hell, and not in a good way. Jamie has betrayed me in the worst way possible. After I put my first post on, I talked to him and said that I would be firing Jane the following day, and I'd never seen him so angry. He said that I would not be firing Jane, and in fact, if anyone was leaving, it would be me, as he was tired of demanding and entitled behavior. He said he had put up with me for years, thinking that I could not possibly be as shallow as his parents and friends said I was, but he had come to realize that I was actually worse than anybody had thought. He said that he believed that I had only married him for his money, and that all I cared about was living on my own selfish life, and that I did not care about our daughter at all. Well, I told him early on that I didn't want to have children, as they would simply mess everything up. And it appears that I was right. Since I gave in to his selfish demands and had that baby, my life has sucked. If I had stood my ground and not had Florence, none of this would have happened. We have not had no need for a nanny, and we would not be inviting the snake Jane into my house, who's been telling my husband lies. I can only assume that it's because she's jealous of my life and is simply trying to ruin it. Of course, Jamie's parents have not helped, as they never liked me, and I would not be surprised if they've put Jane up to this. Probably talking about me when Jane drops Florence off with them on their days off. Maybe, just maybe, they arranged it so I hired Jane, and she was working for them the whole time just to break Jamie and me apart. All of this was going through my mind as, well, Jamie was telling me that I was the one who should be leaving, and I was absolutely just shocked out of my musings when he said that he absolutely wanted a divorce. I mean, things have been a bit up and down for a while, but I think divorce was a bit much. I told him that I would not be agreeing to a divorce, and if he thought I was going to just accept the hate campaign against me, oh boy, he was very, very wrong. Jamie said it's not a case of me agreeing to it, it's happening, and I have to accept it. He said that he had a proposition for me, as he knew that I would make things hard for him. I have not really told you much about our lifestyle, so I should probably explain here before I do continue. As I said, Jamie and his family have money. I mean, a huge amount of money. They have more money than, well, anybody could spend in 10 times their life. I'm not going to lie here, obviously this was a massive draw for me when I met Jamie. But before you judge, who would not be drawn to an easy life? You're lying if you say you would not choose a man with money over a poor man. Regardless, I was attracted to him and he's gorgeous, and the money was just the icing on top of the cake. In the 5 years we've been married, he has always paid for anything I wanted. And this has included a lot of cosmetic surgery. Who wants to get old? I drive a new car, which is replaced every year, and we go on these exotic holidays. Or at least we used to. Until Florence came along. Jamie thinks she's too young to fly, and he won't go without her. In the first year of her life, I was forced to go on holidays on my own, with my friends because Jamie would not come. Jamie used this against me in our argument, and he had actually made a note of how much time that I'd spent away from our daughter. In the first year of her life, I'd been away for about 7 months of it, but a lot of that was having hospital procedures done. It was all not fun, just filled with holidays. I've literally only had 3 since she was born. That's not too many, is it? Well, we have our home, which I love. It was Jamie's home before we got married, and he is also, has a beach house in a beautiful position by the coast. It has its bit of a private beach to it, and it's very secluded. We also used to go there for romantic weekends and getaways all the time before Florence was born. Now, we occasionally go with Florence and Jane, but it's not the same. I think that they went when I was away because Florence likes the beach. She's 1 year old. She doesn't even know what she likes. I think Jane likes the beach, to be honest, and she dislikes to play being a rich person going to the beach house just to do it. The beach house is very important, as once Jamie had said he wanted to divorce me, he said that he would sign the beach house over to me if I agreed to a no-fuss divorce, and did not try to make it to go to court or anything like that to make life difficult. I said that as his wife and the mother of his child, I was entitled to more than a stupid beach house. Well, at this point he argued that I had brought nothing to the marriage, as was just a hostess when we met. which is basically not much better than a stripper. So the beach house was worth more than I would ever make in an entire lifetime. I could live in it or sell it if I wanted the money so badly. I should have been suspicious by now, but I'm too trusting. I said that I thought that we should go to couples counseling and just try to save our marriage. I had not realized that there were problems, so this all seemed so sudden and had come from absolutely nowhere. Jamie said that if I had not been so self-centered, I would have noticed that there was problems before now, but I was too busy living like a single woman. Not a woman with a husband, not a woman with a child. I felt like I was being attacked for not conforming to his opinion of a good wife. Well, whatever, which I am. I was about to try and argue with him when he dropped the real reason. He wanted to get rid of me. Guys, it's because of Jayne. That's right. He wants to divorce me to be with that snake in the grass who has been lying low and slowly destroying my marriage from within. Plain Jayne, who does not even wear makeup most days, who wears this ugly clothing, who will never look as good as I do, on this work occasion was the reason that he wanted to get rid of me? I was absolutely stunned, and I think he saw that as a sign that I was actually upset. He said it was my fault I was never here. I had no interest in him or Florence, and when I was home, I acted like an absolute jerk. Including Jayne and his parents, I was a jerk to. Guys, that's not even true. It's not my fault that they're dull people who bore the heck out of me. Regardless, none of my, quote, imagined bad behavior is an excuse for kicking me out of my home and leaving me for another woman. Adultery is wrong, and I am the victim here. He's just trying to buy me off so that he can get out of his life, and I'm not about to go quietly. He will pay for choosing that stupid nanny over me. Update number 2. I've had so much advice from you all about how to make sure that my husband does not take advantage of me, because let's face it, he has more money than me and will be able to get a good lawyer. Some people said I should have just taken the beach house and sell it, but I want my revenge on him and his family. I was married to him for 5 years, so I deserve my share. I'm used to living a life of luxury, and just because he's decided to cheat on me and try to take everything away from me, doesn't mean I should just accept what he offers me. Well, my parents arranged for me to see a lawyer friend of theirs who was happy to take the case. He said that once we win, Jamie will have to pay all the fees, so I don't have to worry about that. He also said that there's no way we would lose, as the courts always favor the woman who was treated badly, especially as being at risk of leaving with no income. Well, he said that it would help if we could prove that Jamie was an abusive partner and a bad father, as the court will definitely look to favor me. I'd made it clear that I will be seeking full custody of Florence, not because I necessarily want that, but because he does, and it's not getting what he wants. My lawyer said it's rare for the dad to get custody over the mother, so that should be an easy win, easy peasy. I was worried that we could not get any evidence to say how badly I was treated, but my father had a brilliant idea. If we pulled together, it would be our word against his, and he'd have to prove that we were embellishing a truth a little. So that's what we plan to do. By the time we go to court, we'll have statements and evidence to show that I've been badly treated in all of this, and he will have to give me a decent alimony payment. I'll make him wish that he's never done this to me. I mean, this will just happen anyways when he realizes he threw away a woman like me for a woman like Jayne. He'll soon get bored of her, and he's used to having a glamorous wife like me, not her. I'm currently living at the beach house at the moment, and it was the only way I would agree to leave the house. Florence is with me still, Jamie, as he would not let her leave with me. I've made much fuss as that's something I can use in my case. It's not going to look good for him if he kept my daughter away from me. I'm not worried at all. There's no way any judge will think that it's okay for what he's done. It's not. He basically abandoned me with no money and no way to make any due to my lack of education. I would be tied to doing things like back to the hostess club. And in my opinion, that should be considered abusive in its own. My parents are with me at the beach house right now, and we're working on putting together all the evidence that we need to win this. I know that you should not lie in court, and that's not what we're doing. I was an abused wife, so we're just making the facts a bit more polished to make Jamie look like the bad guy that he truly is. Stay tuned for the update. Update number 3. Well guys, the court case actually went on longer than I expected. My lawyer made it sound like we would just put in all our proof and the judge would look at it and realize how awful I've been treated, and then he would just put something in place so that Jamie had to pay me enough money to live happily for the rest of my days. He also said I would get custody of Florence to make Jamie hurt, but that's not what happened, and I cannot overemphasize how angry I am right now with my fate. I was right. The rich always win. I've been royally screwed over by this one, including my lawyer, who did not deliver what he said he would. The first day was all focused on me, and it was glorious. My lawyer went over all the evidence, and the judge asked our questions and played, well, and to my humble opinion, the perfect woman scorned. The statements I included that Jamie had forced me to have all the cosmetic surgery done just to make sure I looked perfect for his friends and his reputation, and we said that he had always treated me as a lesser person because I was not university educated, and that I've been forced just to have a baby against my will. I said that once Florence was born, Jamie had insisted on getting a nanny and would not allow me to care for my own daughter, which causes me great emotional distress. My case stated that I was asking for full custody of Florence. Jamie actually laughed when I said that, and I was so sure that the judge would see that. Jamie had so little disrespect for me that everything would just go my way. I managed to turn so much of Jamie's behavior into abusive tendencies, and I also accused his parents on the same thing. Just for good measure, I added that Jayne had been awful to me, gloating about her affair with my husband to my face. It really looked good that first day, but what my lawyer did not mention was that Jamie would be allowed to fight back on day 2. My stupid lawyer made it, seem like the judge would just take my word for everything that would be, that as it was obvious that my Jamie here was the bad guy. He was divorcing me so he could be with another woman, so how the hell was he not to be the bad guy? Jamie's lawyer was very expensive and good at what he did. Of course he was. He the rich one that people can't afford. All I got was some useless, washed-up friend of my father's. I'm wondering if he was even a lawyer. He was so stupid. Jamie's side had a lot of documentation as well. My lawyer had it, but he had not shown it to me. I don't know why. I could have prepared myself if he did. Jamie went through everything since we're married, and he had seen my statement, so I did not know that lawyers had to exchange their cases. He was ready to counter the entirety of my case and turn it against me. He had masses of text messages, emails, and voice recordings of me which made it very clear that I demanded cosmetic surgery. He also had proof that I had been the one who insisted on the nanny, and I had personally picked Jayne myself. He even had records of all the times in the last year that I was either on holiday or in the hospital, which showed I was not exactly present in Florence's life. Worst, he had text messages that I had sent after he kicked me out. Sent when I was angry, saying that I wish Florence had never been born, and she was the reason that my whole life was absolutely falling apart. Guys, this did not look good. I admit, but I was angry. The allegations against me went on, and his friends had all made misstatements against me too. The final betrayal came from one of my own friend groups, who's now dating one of Jamie's friends. She told her boyfriend that she's not surprised that Jamie had dumped me, as when we went on a holiday as a group, I'd constantly be taking men back to my hotel room with me, like she was the one to talk. Granted, yeah, she was single then, blah blah blah, I wasn't, but why should I not have any fun too? The judge asked me if I had anything in response, and I tried to defend myself and say that those were all lies, but he did not believe me. I still had hope that I'd get something. I mean, what kind of heartless person would leave a woman alone in the world with nothing? It turns out the judge would. I did not get anything. Well, I got to keep the clothes, jewelry, and anything bought for me during the marriage, such as my car, but hey, that's about it. I tried to argue that Jamie had offered me to the beach house, so I should be able to still have it, as I was living in it. Jamie's lawyers said that it was no longer an offer, as that was only if I had not contested the divorce, which I did. On the matter of Florence, Jamie was awarded full custody and made it clear he would be applying for an order, so I could not go anywhere near my Florence, and he thought I'd try to take her away. The final nail in the coffin for me was when I realized that now I had to pay my own legal bills. But the judge also made an order that I was responsible for Jamie's as well. There's no way I can afford that. How was this happening? Jamie was the bad guy here, and I'm the one that lost everything. This really sucks, and life's not fair unless you're rich. Update number 4. I almost forgot I've written this, and I was just browsing my phone and I found it. I can't believe it's been over a year since Jamie went out and ruined my life. I had to sell all the things I got in the settlement to pay my fees, and I was literally left with absolutely nothing. I had to move in with my parents and try to find a new job. The boutique was owned by Jamie's friend, and they fired me. Everyone thinks I'm the bad guy still. I did nothing wrong. I have a new man now, and he's nothing like Jamie. I met Casey in a bar, and I needed somewhere to live, and he said he owned his own place. I mean, I did not expect his place to be a camper, but it's better than being at my parents' who were demanding I get a job and stop mooching off them. I had been traumatized and needed to take time to relax, but they thought I was just being lazy. My mom said I had always been lazy, and this is why I managed to mess up my marriage. If I had been less of a jerk, I'd still be living with the good life with Jamie. Why does everyone think that it's always my fault? Casey's going to be a pro surfer. He's certain of it. We travel around so he can take part in competitions. He's not won anything yet, but he will, and then we'll be much better off. I've been keeping an eye on Jamie because I'm still looking for a way to go back to him, just to get him back. I assumed once I was gone, he'd realize that he's thrown away his chance to be with such a beautiful woman like me, and see Jayne was just plain Jayne, nobody. Instead, he married her. He managed to get an order against me that took away my parental rights to Florence, and he even used text messages I sent him saying I wish I never would have had her, and wanted to get rid of her to prove I was a bad mother. It's so unfair. I was just angry when I sent those. Being a mother is hard, and sometimes you get mad. Jayne formally adopted my daughter, and I'm fuming about that. What has she got that I haven't? My friends abandoned me after the divorce. They said it's because I tried to attack the one who told her boyfriend about the little flirtations on holiday. But really, it's because they can't milk off me anymore. I have no one now. Well, except Casey, and that's fine. I don't need them. In this life, there's people who will just kick you when you're down, and once you're vulnerable, they'll prey on you. I lost everything I had because of the actions of others. I'm a good person. I am, and they took advantage of that anyways. Well, it's over. And to heck with them all. They don't deserve me. Alright guys, so I'll be completely honest with you on this story. OP was getting ripped to shreds in the comment section. Nobody was on her side. There were a couple stragglers who were arguing with most of the commenters, but I'd say 99% of the people were saying how toxic OP is. The way that she was using her kid as a bargaining chip, essentially, just to get a little revenge on her husband. I would like to know from you guys what exactly you thought about this story. Did you think that OP is as bad as the comments were making her seem to be? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, guys. My name's Mr. Reddito. If you're new to the channel, I animate, narrate, record, and produce stories every single day, so make sure you stop by, see what the topic is today. I hope you guys have a fantastic one. Smash that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. A peace!